Hello all and welcome to this tutorial. In our tutorial today, we will discuss one of my favorite interview questions. I have interviewed a lot of people and by far, most of the people can talk anything and everything about AWS, Azure, GCP or whatever cloud platform they are working with very effectively. But when you go to the basics and ask them what is the cloud and why it is called the cloud, that's when they are not able to answer this question very effectively. In fact, a whole lot of people are not even able to answer this question, which kind of baffles me a lot as to, why are people not able to answer a very basic question like this. So today we will revisit these basics and hopefully I can give you at the end of this tutorial an effective way of answering these questions. So what is the cloud? The simplest way of answering this question is that a cloud is a metaphor for the internet. A metaphor is a symbol, a representation, something that looks very similar to the internet. So if you want to, have a symbol for the internet, you would represent it like this as a cloud. So someone asked me, would cloud and internet mean the same thing? Are the same? Yes, they are. Right? It's a representation of the internet. The other definition could be that, hey, the cloud is a global network of servers, which is also correct. And since you're making it global, you're automatically talking about the internet. Also, it is a vast network of remote servers around the globe which are hooked together and meant to operate like a single ecosystem. So all of these are pointing you in the direction of the internet. Let's say if you want to go a little more techie, right? All of the first three are mostly the layman ways of answering this question. And I would actually encourage you to stick to the layman terms of answering this question because an expert can truly take something which is very complex and make it look very simple. But let's say if you still want to go a little more techie and you want to continue with that response, then you can go a step ahead and start talking about cloud computing and say that it is basically a model, right, for enabling convenient on-demand network access to a shared pool of computing resources that can be rapidly provisioned, released with minimal management effort or service provider interaction. So you can go a step ahead and talk about this as well. But by far, the first three sentences can help you to answer this question effectively. Now, let's say the next question that if I ask you is, since you told me that it's a global network of servers and it's a metaphor for the internet and it's a network of remote servers that are hooked together and all that, what if I ask you where is the cloud located? Can you tell me where is it located? Like if it's a network of servers, it should have a physical location somewhere, right? Then remember one thing, that the cloud is not a physical entity. It's a representation, remember. It's a representation, it's a symbol. It's not a physical entity. So you don't have an address to the cloud. Okay, so I was basically just trying to see if you know understand the basics of cloud computing and what is a cloud by asking you maybe a rookie question or a witty question, let's say. But actually, we have to keep one thing in mind, that the cloud is not a physical entity. And most importantly, it has nothing to do with the clouds in the sky, right? If I want to go ahead and pull your leg further, I can ask you, is it located up in the sky, right? Now, if I go and tell my grandmother that I'm working on the cloud, then she will by far look at the clouds in the sky and like, okay, I have absolutely no clue how she makes cloud in the sky, but she's saying she's doing that and she's trusting me. But please remember this, that is not a physical entity and has nothing to do with the clouds in the sky. Now, these two are two good reference links of answering this question, both from Azure and AWS, right? The two most popular CSPs. And in fact, I have these links open over here. So this is from Azure. And if you go to see, they have tried to answer this question as a global network of servers. And they have actually gone a step ahead and also answered what is a public cloud, right? What is a private cloud? What is a hybrid cloud? Or even what is a community cloud? So they have gone ahead and answered some of these questions for you. But this is their version of the answer to this question as to what is a cloud. Similarly, this is AWS. Like, what is cloud computing? They have said cloud computing is an on demand delivery of IT resources over the internet. Now, both of them have come with their version of an answer to this question. But what you want to do is you want to create your own answer, right? What is your answer to this question? What is a cloud? These are some of the suggestions that I have given here. But try to formulate your own answer to this question. You should be able to answer this question very easily without dabbling as to what is the cloud. Now let us move further ahead and basically go to the next question as to why it is called the cloud. Now let's say by far you've managed to answer the question, what is a cloud? I asked you, where is it physically located? And you told me, hey, it's not physically located anywhere, this is just a rookie question. It's not even the clouds in the sky, by the way, so don't even ask me if it's right up in the sky. What if I ask you, why is it called the cloud? And not anything else. Why not the sun, moon, stars, trees, birds or anything else on this planet? Why only the cloud? Why are we so fixated on this? For that, you will need to know a little bit history about the overall cloud computing and the evolution of the internet, right? So that's where the answer lies. So during the early days of internet, somewhere around in 1990s, I guess, a symbol looking very similar to the cloud was used in technical diagrams like flowcharts to symbolize the internet. Remember, our definition of what is a cloud is that the fact that it is a metaphor for the internet. So it's a symbol for the internet, right? So if you want to show internet, you typically go about showing something like this. Now, what is this similar to? If you remember as a child, you used to draw, and one of the things that my teachers used to give me was, hey, draw this landscape or something like that. And I used to draw mountains and sun and then clouds. This is how kids represent clouds, right? This is how you see clouds in the sky as well. Hence the term the cloud. So a cloud looking like symbol, let's just put it that way, was used to represent the internet. Right, so a lot of these technical diagrams represented servers and networking infrastructure, that was hosted over the internet as a cloud, something like this. Now, this is the layman terms of answering this question. Why is it called the cloud? Because it was represented like a cloud. It is still represented like a cloud, right? Like a kid would draw a cloud. That's why it was called as a cloud, right? And also one of the things is that there are a lot of things and all you want to do is kind of show a logical boundary like, okay, this is where, my servers are hosted and this is where my device is and this is my connection over the internet. But when you physically go through the internet, you'll go through a lot of hoops and bounds and, different IP addresses and DNS servers. You don't want to go through all that. You are just trying to show a good representation of your system without getting into the nitty-gritties. And since you don't know where it is located and all of that, you want to give a good boundary, a good representation of these servers and networks, right? It was represented like a cloud, and hence it is called as a cloud as well, right? Now, this is more of a techie way of answering this question, right? These are the layman ways of answering, and stick to the layman ways. It may not come across as 100%. Oh, the answer is not 100% technical. You don't actually need to be technical. Remember, this is not a technical question. This is the person is asking you this question just to know if you understand the foundation of what you're working on, right? Do you understand the basics? The person is also trying to understand your way of thinking, like how you think. That is the reason of asking such questions, right? There are several other technical questions. If you want to go into the technicality, yes, you can do that. But when questions like these are asked, try to answer the question to the point and answer the question intelligently. Like, and when I'm saying to the point, keep it simple. Like, use the KISS method over here. Like, keep it simple, stupid. Don't go round and round answering all different kinds of answers. But if you still want to go the techie route, it is basically, as more and more computing started moving to the internet, people started talking about moving to the cloud, right? Why? Because this was a representation that was used. So essentially, what happened? It just became a shorthand way of expressing their computing needs over the internet. Now, this is again a very, very simple way of answering this question. A shorthand way of expressing their computing needs over the internet. And since the symbol looked like the cloud, or it still looks like the cloud, it is called as a cloud. So today, the cloud is a widely accepted term of basically saying that your computing is over the internet. Right? So you're basically saying, hey, all our resources are on the cloud. That essentially means that you're talking about computing over the internet. Remember, cloud is a representation or a symbol or a metaphor for the internet. So rather than, talking about, hey, we are doing computing over the internet, blah, 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 you're saying, hey, we are hosting everything on the cloud. These are some representation diagrams, right, as to how you would represent cloud. So see here, there's a device, you're accessing, your resources via the internet, and these are your resources. And this is just a logical boundary or, representation. Basically, the cloud is part of the internet itself, right? But you are having a specific provider where you're hosting your resources. It has a physical location, of course, as a data center, but you definitely don't know. But it is called as the cloud, right? So cloud is basically a representation. It's not a physical entity, right? It could be anywhere. You don't need to go to the grassroots level as to what the data center address is. By far, you wouldn't even know that. But it is this representation of your computing needs over the internet. And this is the other diagram right here, a very similar diagram. Of course, you can find multiple of these and several of these over the web. But I hope that this video was helpful in clearing some of these basics. You will be surprised that when this question is asked in the interview, I can say almost 80 to 85% of the people cannot answer this question effectively. I don't know, either they forget the answer or because they are, I don't know, nervous or scared or whatever, or they are not able to answer this question effectively. They can talk volumes about the individual CSP providers and the different services and, Azure and blob storage and S3 and EC2 and VMs and VPCs and VNets and all that. Oh, no issues. But when it comes to the basics, that's where they just lose. So I hope that this video is helpful to you and anybody who's watching this video. Good luck for your interviews. I'll try to post some other interview questions as well. I had got a request sometime back, right? But this is it from me today, and I will see you shortly in some other tutorial. Till then, take care. Bye bye.